Quality is never an accident. It is always a result of intelligent effort. John Ruskin. Welcome everybody. I'm F. Dan Rivera, your host here at HVAC Training Store, coming with your weekly podcast here, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight into the world of HVAC. So anyways, guys, if you guys are watching here, you're probably either new to the industry or you've been in the industry but are looking for new techniques, new things to really be able to change the kind of results you have in your life. Well, I want to welcome you guys, and what I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to hit that subscribe button and also ring that bell if you like the content. And I definitely would like to get some feedback from you guys to see what you guys want to hear about, what you'd like me to possibly provide some kind of mindset training on, or anything that you think would help you advance your career. That's what the purpose of this is for. And so with that being said, guys, let's get started. So once again, quality is never an accident. It is always the result of an intelligent effort. A lot of people get into the HVAC industry and they kind of spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to get good, how to get better, how to do things. And I got to tell you, the one thing is quality. Whatever you learn, guys, you've got to do quality. Let me tell you guys a story of something that's been happening for possibly the last year and a half. And I'm going to call him Wreck-It Ralph. Okay, I just don't want to use his name, but I'm going to tell you the story, okay? So about a year and a half ago, there used to be a guy that was, where my shop is at, a couple of shops down, there used to be a kid that was always sitting down there outside of the door, and I would ask him, I'm like, hey, what are you doing there? And he says, oh, I'm waiting for the guy to give me some hours to work. Okay, and I was like, I would see him get there around 9, and sometimes he actually wouldn't get to work till around 12 noon. And as the years started going by, years started going by. The first time I seen him after a couple of months, I said, hey, you know what, have you ever thought about getting into HVAC? I could train you. While you're sitting there, you can literally just start going ahead and I'll put you through my video training. You're already waiting for somebody for hours, right? So why not just start watching these videos? Are you interested in learning HVAC? Nope, I'm good. I'm just going to stay here. At the time, I believe he was about 18 or 19 years old. 6 months later, I still see this guy out there. And I'm like, so what's up? What are you doing here? You're still waiting for the guy to arrive to let you work a couple of hours? I am. You know what? The offer still stands, my friend. If you like, go ahead and come on in, and if you want, I got a computer right there. I can start putting you through all the trainings. If you want to learn HVAC, I'll train you for free. Once you watch the trainings, you take the test, I'll give you some work. Nope. No, I'm just gonna sit here and just wait. Another year goes by, right? And I was like, hey, Ralph, are you sure? I mean, you've been sitting here for the last year and a half, 2 years. You've just been sitting here. You arrive around 8 or 9 a.m. The guy finally opens up for you around 12. You work for 3 hours and then you go home. And another year goes by. So like I said, we're talking about 2 years. And I said, listen, HVAC, air conditioning, heating, while you're already waiting, why don't you just go sit in my office and start watching some videos and start learning some stuff? Finally, he was like, okay. I put on the videos. After about 2 weeks of watching all these videos, he actually started kind of learning it and learning it. So I had him watch it for 3 weeks, right? Just a couple hours here a day. Just sit there while the other guy showed up, and then he gave him some work. After about 2-3 weeks, I was like, how do you feel about what you're learning? He goes, I think I got it, man. I think I understand it. I was like, all right, do you want to go run a call with me? He goes, absolutely, let's go. So on that day, he began his career in HVAC. So over, like anybody who's brand new in the industry, I always imagine, or I'm always realistic that about the first 3 to about 9 months, it's all going to be learning, you guys. I mean, it's all just learning. Now, some people are able to put in practice at least what they've learned on video, and over the course of 3 months, be able to start implementing and getting it good. In this case, with Ralph, he started learning, but man, he has some sloppy habits. Like, for example, on one occasion, we throw him up into the attic, and training day one is when you're in the attic, make sure you put your feet on the studs, right, as you're traveling through up in the attic. And then, sure enough, he puts his foot through one of the studs, rips the drywall on a job. Now we got to go back and we got to go fix it. And then we send him to another one, and he messes up on the drains, it spills, and then it creates another problem. Then we send him to another job, and we're talking about, we train him. We physically, before we send one of our guys to a job, here's what we do. If I'm going to have you go install a thermostat, I will bring you to my side. I'll show you the thermostat. I'll connect it with you. I'll teach you how to program it. I'll watch you do it. And then I'll say, okay, now we've got all the kinks out. How do you feel about it? I got it. So he goes, and then he would just screw everything up, man. It was like no matter where we sent him, there was always something that the customer ended up being upset about. So before you know it, we started to call him Wreck-It Ralph. Like that cartoon that just goes into a building and he just starts breaking it down. Well, this guy started, it was almost to the point where we're just afraid of sending him anywhere because there was always some type of something got damaged. Okay, now we said, okay, maybe he just needs more time. He's only been doing this for about 3 to 6 months. Maybe he just needs more time. Then what would happen was, we waited a little bit more time. Because he could technically do the work. He could hang furnaces, he could braze, he could install condensers. He could do just about everything. But somehow, he always ended up doing it twice. And at this point, we're like, man, dude, we're afraid to do anything with you. Now, here he is, he's continuing to work, and so we said, you know what, let's help him get organized. We see potential in him, let's get him organized, and the key word became quality. But the inconsistency of his work always put that quality basically, at the mercy, right? So you didn't know what you were going to get. Now, as time went by, he got a year with us, and just because I liked the kid, I was giving him opportunity. I always had somebody supervising, and so long as we had somebody supervising, he didn't screw up as much. But this idea of quality was just something that he just couldn't get through his head. And look, I'm going to read a couple of quotes to you guys, just so you guys could see that this is an attitude. And here's what Colin Powell says. He says, if you're going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude. So when we're talking about doing quality work, in order to achieve quality work, guys, especially for you new gentlemen in the field, the main thing that you have to do is you got to get organized. Your van needs to be organized. You got to know everything that's inside of your truck. You got to clean out your truck at the end of every job. You got to make sure that the floor is where you can go in. But this kid, every time he was done with the job, there wasn't even 1 square inch that you can actually put your foot on in the back of that van. You couldn't even get in there. It would be like Wreck-It Ralph just went in there and just knocked everything down. And no matter what we tried to do, nothing worked. This week on Monday, I had a conversation with him and I said, Wreck-It Ralph, I'm pulling the plug on this. You got 1 week to change this behavior, because it's a behavior, it's an attitude. Sloppiness is an attitude. The attitude of what? I don't give a damn. Working slow is also an attitude. It's a negative attitude, you guys. It means you don't give a damn, right? It's like, I'm going to work slow. I don't care if we're in a hurry. I don't care if the homeowner wants the air conditioner working in an hour. I'm going to take my sweet time because it's all about me. Now, the big problem is that when you're in the service industry, in any type of service, whether you're doing a restaurant, bartending, whether you're a server, in hotels, everything, ladies and gentlemen, is its value and its customer service. If you want to receive the big bucks, you got to learn to take care of the customers. And when the customer wants something, they want it quick, you don't take your time, because if you do, that means that you don't care, and that is a negative attitude. Okay? So anyways, this sloppiness, I told him it has got to end. And if it doesn't end in 1 week, that's it. We will be parting ways. He says, I don't know how to change that. I said, you don't know, or you don't want to change that. Now, not knowing is one thing, not wanting to is completely another, right? So I don't want to, I don't know how is in most times just an excuse for, I don't give a damn, I ain't gonna make a change. So I told him, listen, if you want to change behavior, there's only one way. And it ain't going to be by willpower. It's going to be, you got to change your self-image. If you don't change your self-image, the way you see yourself, if you can't imagine yourself, if you can't create a video of yourself operating in a clean truck and working cleanly or with cleanliness, if you can't see yourself working efficiently and with ease and with finesse, you will never be it. Well, what's self-image? I said, we've talked about this. Now, look at what Steve Jobs even says. He says, be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. Steve Jobs. And guys, many of you have never worked in an environment of excellence. And you think, and just in case you do have that in your mindset, you must change it, and you must change it now. You have to realize that if you've never been a student, if you've never been the MVP of your team, more than likely you've never worked to a level of excellence, and you've never expected excellence out of yourself. And possibly you kind of just floated through high school. You're a B, even a B, a C, doesn't matter. You just went through, you never competed to be the best. And you've developed a habit of mediocrity. The good news is that you can change it. And if you want to make a lot of money, gentlemen, you've got to change it. You must change it. Don't try. Do. Remember what Yoda says, there is no try, there is only do. And I'm not sure exactly, he said it exactly like that, but we have to change it, gentlemen. Okay, you are getting into a field to have a high level of success. The cream rises to the top. And if you want to get to the top, and if you want to make that money, you must develop quality, efficiency, effectiveness, and responsibility. Because with responsibility comes greatness. So this gentleman, no matter what, he just wouldn't do it. The very next morning, on Tuesday morning, he comes in and he tells me, he goes, I'm quitting what you ask of me, I cannot do. And I said, if you think you can, you won't. If you think you can, you will. It's whatever you decide in your mind, gentlemen. And so as you're going into HVAC, guys, you have got to learn to work with efficiency. And you've got to learn that the customer, you got to give them love, baby. And that love is handsomely rewarded. If you want to make 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000, it's all about doing quality, keeping your word. This is all values, guys. It's the values that are the motivating factors, the values that are ingrained in your self-image is what you can give. You can't give that which you do not have. And I also love that quote, and I'm always going to bring it up from James Allen in As a Man Thinketh. He says, people do not get that which they want, but that which they are. And if inside, if you're like, you say, I want to have great results. I want to make $100,000, but you are struggling with giving the best customer service. If your work is not top quality, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get there. The market always rewards those people who meet the demands of the market. And in this case, people are looking for value. People are looking for customer service. They're looking for skills and high level of skills. They're looking for quality work. They're looking for people who are responsible. If you even have one bone of irresponsible or irresponsibleness in you, get it out. And this guy did not want to be held accountable, and no matter what we tried, he just couldn't get it in. And that's why he became Wreck-It Ralph, because everything he touched turned to shit. Now think about that. You know, I've heard of so many people wanting to have the Midas touch. Everything you touch turns to gold. That's definitely my objective, my goal in life, that everything I were to touch turns to gold. Yet there's other people that everything they touch turns to caca. And if you want to change it, it's a self-image. Now, so just to make this very, very, very short, the way you change the self-image, you guys, is you got to do some visualization. Now, this morning, you know, I hadn't visualized probably like in a good 2-3 weeks. Probably 2-3 weeks. I mean, it's been a while. And this morning I went into a 30-minute visualization session. You know, I go in there in my mind to the theater of my mind, as Maxwell Maltz calls it in the book Psycho-Cybernetics. I go into the theater of my mind, and then I just start going where it is, and I start creating the life that I want. But it has a lot to do with how in my mind I want to operate. That's one way. The second way that you change your self-image is through role playing. The very point of role playing is to start training you to believe that you can actually do it. And when you start training and you see yourself doing and doing and doing, ultimately it becomes part of you, because the subconscious it's like, man, I see myself doing this every day. So now I don't need to change because I've already been role playing it every day. And it makes me think about so many guys out there that you know, they get into HVAC for all the wrong reasons, right? And they all want money. Well, actually, I take it back. They are the right reasons. Money, because that's all we're here. Everybody works only for one reason. We want money. But if we're not going to provide that value, means I want to earn 100,000, but in order to earn 100,000, what must I do? I need to be responsible. I need to take responsibility for my actions and for anything that happens on projects that I touch. It also requires great customer service. It requires that you pick up all your mess at the homeowner's house, that you sweep your mess, that you clean out your truck, that you don't leave any screws on the driveway, that if you're crawling under the house, that you cover those attic accesses up above, and then those crawl space accesses so that the squirrels or the chipmunks don't get in there. And it requires that you check all your steps. That's what responsibility is. Okay, and then you start working towards the highest level of excellence and workmanship. But it requires such a frame of mind, you guys. And I don't even care how well you did or you didn't do in high school. The one thing that you need to realize is that now you're in the game. You are now officially in the game. And you're here to make money. And the way to make money is to provide quality service, great customer service, and provide solutions for people so that they don't have to do it themselves. If you're making a mess and you're making a mess, somebody else has to always come clean up behind you. I'm telling you, until you don't change that, you're not going to get what you want. All right, guys, so that's my tip for you guys today. I hope you guys understand that if you are a Wreck-It Ralph and you're always breaking things on the job site, that you've got to change it, guys. You've got to change it. And on this channel, guys, if you like what I'm telling you and you think that even your employees or your partners or anybody there working with you besides you needs to hear this, please share this with them. If you like, ring the bell, let YouTube know that you like the content. Guys, I'm just here from someone who had to have gone through so many bad experiences, and I'm here to give you and share all my wisdom, my insight, and my knowledge on this topic so that you don't have to go through the very things that I went through, guys. All right, so be responsible, be clean, show quality work, and you will be loved by everyone on your team, and especially the people that matter most, which are the customers, because they're the ones who pay our bills, guys. All right, see you guys next week, and I love you guys. Thank you guys so much.